When your dog runs up to greet strangers before you even react, do you actually know what that means? It looks like friendliness, confidence, maybe even good social skills. But behind that excitement, there's something deeper that most dog owners completely miss. It's one of the most instinctive things your dog can do. And if you misunderstand it, which most owners do, you might confuse your dog or weaken your role in their world. Let's start with what this behavior really means. 1. It's not just friendliness. It's a decision. Have you ever noticed your dog choosing to approach someone before even looking back at you? Most people think it's about being social. That's just a friendly dog. Here's what's actually happening. Your dog is making a decision independently. Instead of checking in with you, reading your cues, or waiting for guidance, they're acting first. That might sound harmless, but in the canine world, decisions like that carry meaning. Think about that for a second. In a structured pack, lower-ranking members don't make first contact with unknown individuals. They look to the leader. So when your dog consistently greets strangers first, it may mean they don't fully see you as the one guiding those moments. And here's where it gets even deeper. This isn't about disobedience. It's about perception. 2. Confidence or a lack of direction. So, is this behavior confidence? Sometimes, yes, but not always in the way you think. Here's what most people don't realize. A 2020 study from the University of Helsinki found that dogs rely heavily on human cues in unfamiliar situations. Dogs that lacked clear guidance were more likely to act impulsively. But what matters is this. Your dog isn't just being bold, they might be filling in a gap. When you don't clearly lead an interaction, your dog steps in. Think about that for a second. That confidence might actually be uncertainty, disguised as action. Because from your dog's perspective, someone has to decide. And if it's not you, it becomes them. What this reveals is simple, but powerful. Your dog isn't ignoring you. They're adapting to what they believe your role is. 3. Your scent is their safe base. But are they using it? Now here's where it becomes emotional. Your dog doesn't just see the world through sight. They experience it through scent, proximity, and familiarity. A 2021 study from the University of Helsinki found that dogs can identify their owner's scent even when it's hidden among strangers. But here's what matters. Your dog isn't just recognizing you. They're supposed to anchor to you. Here's what's actually happening. When your dog approaches strangers without checking back, they're momentarily disconnecting from that safe base. Think about that for a second. In a balanced bond, your dog uses you as a reference point. They explore, but they return. They engage, but they check in. So if your dog skips that step, it tells you something. It means they're not fully using you as their emotional anchor in that moment. And that changes everything about how they experience the world around them. And, hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more dog owners who actually want to understand what their dog is really saying. 4. This behavior comes from ancient instincts. This isn't random. It goes back thousands of years. Before dogs were pets, they were part of structured packs. Here's what's actually happening. In wolf and early canine groups, approaching outsiders was a controlled behavior. Puppies didn't run up to strangers. They stayed close, observed, learned. Only certain members initiated contact, and usually under guidance. Think about that for a second. So when your dog rushes towards strangers today, it's not just excitement, it's instinct without structure. And here's where it gets even deeper. Modern life has removed many of the natural boundaries dogs once had. No clear pack roles, no consistent signals. So your dog improvises. What this reveals is powerful. They're not trying to dominate the situation. They're trying to understand it. But without your direction, they're guessing. They don't do this with everyone. Now, ask yourself this, or are there certain people they ignore, hesitate around, or avoid? Here's what's actually happening. Dogs are selective. They read energy, posture, tone, even subtle emotional states. So when your dog eagerly approaches someone, it's not random. Think about that for a second. They are choosing. And what makes this even more powerful is, they're making that choice without you. That means, in that moment, your dog trusts their own judgment more than your guidance. Not because they don't love you, but because they've learned they can. And this is where most owners get it wrong. They assume more freedom equals more confidence, but in many cases, it creates uncertainty. Because your dog is left to navigate human interactions alone. 6. The real meaning. They're looking for direction, not just connection. Let's bring this all together. Your dog greets strangers first. You think they just love people. But here's the truth. That behavior is often your dog asking a silent question. Should I handle this? Or will you? Think about that for a second. Because when you don't answer that question consistently, your dog starts answering it for themselves. And that's where confusion begins. Here's what's actually happening. Your dog doesn't just want interaction. They want clarity. They want to know, is this person safe? Should I engage? Do I stay close to you or move forward? And when those answers aren't clear, they act, not out of disobedience, but out of instinct. What this reveals about your dog is deeply emotional. They're not just seeking connection with others. They're trying to understand their connection with you. And here's where it gets even deeper. True confidence in a dog isn't running ahead. It's choosing to stay connected, even when the world is interesting. So, when your dog greets strangers before you even react, it's not just friendliness. That's not simple social behavior. That's your dog navigating uncertainty on their own. And the truth is, they shouldn't have to. Because in their world, you are supposed to be the reference point, the signal, the guide, the one who defines what happens next. So, next time your dog moves toward a stranger first, remember, that's not just excitement, that's communication. That behavior, it was never small to your dog. And it shouldn't be small to you either.